This will be my first commentary video, and I'll be talking about the Ifrit raid boss. I know a lot of people are having trouble with this event, so I'll just give my thoughts on it and what I understand. I'm pretty much able to farm the boss right now with my team. There are certain things that will cause me to wipe. Mainly, I want to talk about the AI and party composition. So getting right into it, Ifrit has 4 unique spells. Incinerate, which is just fire magic damage to a single target. Eruption, which is another fire magical damage to a single target. And Radiant Plume, it's the strong AoE that does a fire debuff every 3 turns. It's an AoE attack. And he has also Vulcan Burst, which is a physical damage. It's not fire elemental. The thing about Ifrit's AI is that he gets up to 8 actions per turn. And in his AI, he has 2 counters. When I say counter, I don't mean like a counter attack, I mean an actual counter. Like 1, 2, 3. For example, his first counter is if he uses Incinerate and Eruption or any combination of that, say Incinerate, 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 Eruption, or Eruption, Eruption, he'll follow up with Vulcan Burst, which is the physical AoE, which does a lot of damage. Incinerate and Eruption each have a 40% chance to trigger every turn, so that means since he gets up to 8 actions per turn, potentially you're looking at eating 3 Vulcan Bursts in a row. With mitigation from Rain's leadership and Undermine, I'm able to reduce Vulcan Burst's damage down to around 1.5k. In a really bad round, you're looking at taking Vulcan Burst 3 times to the face. That's around 4.5k of damage, which means your units need 5k, at least 5k of HP to be safe. I don't feel safe unless I'm around 6k, to be honest. So those are the first 3 unique attacks. And the other one that he has is Radiant Plume. It's that fire AoE magic damage with a 5x multiplier that he uses every 3 turns. He uses it on the first turn as well. And it debuffs your whole team's fire resistance by 50%. But the thing is, it's fire magical damage, like Incinerate and Eruption. Radiant Plume, if you have 100% fire resist, your team will resist it 100%. And the way Radiant Plume works is that it does the damage before it applies the debuff. This means if you have all your units at 100% fire resistance, you'll take no damage. You can just ignore the 5x multiplier, which is really awesome. That's also the reason why you see me using Bushido, the Gilgamesh ability, the reward from the Gilgamesh trial, to clear the fire debuff after every turn he applies it. This is because with Barfire, I'm able to get everyone on my team up to 100% fire resist. Buffs and debuffs are also really important. Like a real raid boss, you need to keep them up or risk wiping. In my clears, I use Rain for leadership and Undermine, and Bart's for Barfira. Not breaking attack and magic is the main reason that causes my team to wipe. This isn't easy because Ifrit has resistance to breaks. It's also the reason why I had to put dual wield on my Rain to improve the chances of breaking Ifrit. Okay, so let's talk about team composition and why I'm using the units that I'm using. Cecil is the tank of the team. With Provoke and Saint Wall, he'll block damage from the auto attacks, and he provides off healing with Kiraja. He generates limit break crystals when countering with a black belt, and he can equip Flame Shield and Flame Mail for straight 100% fire resist. He's also the unit I decided to give Bushido to clear the debuffs on my team. I took off his weapon so he doesn't do too much damage. Cloud of Darkness is there for her AoE status clear in return. She's wearing a jeweled ring so she doesn't get paralyzed herself. She also naturally has 50% fire resist. You can consider replacing Cloud of Darkness with other units that have AoE status clears, such as Charlotte with her Patriot Shield, Ling, or even Luca. Refia is there because she's amazing. Refia with dual cast is probably my favorite unit in the game, just because of how powerful it is and how game-changing it is to bring onto your team. Dual cast Refia is probably better than any rainbow in this game, in my opinion. But I could be biased because the only rainbow I do have is Dark Knight Cecil. Her job here in this fight is just to keep your team alive with dual cast Kiraja or Full Life to mainly revive Bartz. The problem with Refia is that she doesn't have any equipment that gives her fire resistance naturally, besides the red ring and the blaze ring, and I'd rather put a muscle belt or some sort of HP item in her accessory slot. I get around this by setting Ifrit as her Esper. Rain is here for his leadership and his full break. He has a dual wield materia just to make sure that his full break will stick. Rain is actually my least favorite character in this party, and that's because of his 5% cover, and even though it is just 5%, it feels like 30%. He tends to jump in front of random characters and eat 4 times Vulcan Burst or something. It's crazy how much he dies or how close he gets to dying in all my runs. As soon as we get Warrior of Light's 6-star, you'll never see me use Rain again in my party. Bartz is here to cast Barfira and use himself as an elixir to give people mana in combination with Refia's Full Life. I'm able to keep up MP on most of my units. He also has the benefit of Entrust, which gives a unit his limit break bar, and this works really well with Olive friends. He can also wear a Flame Shield and a Flame Mail like Cecil, which puts him at 100% fire resist, which is really awesome because as soon as you revive him, he's already at 100% fire resist, so he doesn't need to cast Barfire to keep himself alive. And finally, my friend unit of choice in this trial is Olive. Olive is insanely strong for a friend unit. She probably does the most amount of damage, and that's what I need in this specific trial. I need damage. Usually I'd probably recommend Noctis for his utility, but I don't need utility here. I don't need another person to raise or another person to break. I just need a person to end this battle fast, and that's what Olive does. You first break Ifrit's armor with Shatter Shot, and then you follow with True Shot or her Limit Break. That pretty much wraps it up for this commentary. If you enjoyed it, let me know in the comments. Maybe I'll do more. If you didn't like it, oh, well, too bad.